told you
I'm back. I am so excited to be recording this today. Yes, okay, so first of all, I wanted to say, excuse my seating arrangement, and I'm kind of low. I don't know if y'all can tell through the camera, but my tripod broke when we went to Mexico in January. And not the whole thing, but the part where the phone goes. So obviously, and I ordered a new one, but it hasn't come yet. But I didn't want to wait for it to come to record this video. So I'm just sitting in one of my lower seats. The taller office chair is there, but I'm using another device to hold the phone up, and it's lower, so I have to sit lower so y'all can see me. How are y'all? How y'all been? It's 2021. I don't think that I've talked to y'all since the beginning, maybe, or the end of 2020. It's March now. And I was like gone, y'all. I was gone. I was focused on taking my boards, and as y'all can see by the title, passing my boards. So now I'm back for real, and I want to share everything I did. I want to share everything. Whatever y'all want to know, that's what I'm here for. Whew. So, as y'all know, I did, like I said, I passed. I took my exam February 25th, and I found out I passed March 3rd. Yeah, March 3rd that morning. It was a Wednesday. So I'm excited. So we're just gonna go, I'm not gonna go backwards. I'm gonna go from the beginning leading up to that day of February 25th. So get your notepads, get your paper, get your pen, get ready, take the advice. Okay, let's get it. So first of all, what I did, I graduated in December. I took the rest of December off. From December to January, I didn't touch a book. I just enjoyed the holidays and just had a good time. And then January 1st came. Well, actually, I think a little bit before January 1st, I started studying, just a little bit. So I have my calendar here. So for those of you who are studying for any type of boards, but more specifically the NCC exam, which is National Corporation Certification or Certification Corporation. One of those two, but it's national, okay? And they do women's health and neonatal, like the exams for that. So everyone doesn't use the same corporation, but NCC is specifically for us. So they have a website, and their website has everything on there. Their website has all the resources. It gives you like how to prepare for an exam. It gives you all those tips. Not that website, but CCPR is, and I don't know if your school told you about it, but it kind of goes hand in hand with it. The CCPR website has an exam that you can pay for. It's 2 of them, and it like kind of mimics the board's exam. So they even have practice things, and then the NCC website has what they call a study guide, and it breaks down everything by like system and like topic. And I'll go over that in a few seconds, but I'm gonna just start with how I prepared. So I looked at that study guide and broke it down. Like they have it like really broken down into each topic in depth. So I went through that, and then I went through my calendar and like started writing. And this was before I even decided when I was going to take my exam. I kind of just went through my calendar to see how long it would take to study. So yeah, I tried to get an idea of the things that I had to study so I can see how long it would take me to study. Okay, so I did start like just reviewing a little bit in December, only because they have areas. So I have it up on my tablet. I don't know if you guys can see it, maybe. So yeah, that is on the NCC website. So it's broken down by content. So we have like 5 different major sections, and then it breaks it down into like literally system and everything. So some of the easy stuff like family integration and discharge planning, I just went ahead and started just doing that to get it over with in December. But the real studying really started in January. So let me pause there and let you know that I already knew January is my birthday month, and it's a holiday. Everybody, if you know me, you know. So anyway, it's a big deal for me. So I already had and it was the 30th birthday. So like I had a vacation plan, and I had like 2 weeks of time off away from studying. So I planned to study for like the first 3 weeks of January, and then the last 2 weeks I wasn't studying, obviously, because I was out of town and on vacation and everything like that. So I just divided it up by topic and by day. So each day I touched on a different topic. So it looked a mess because obviously I've been like writing and crossing things out, but if you can see like in pencil, like this was January 4th, and it says growth and nutrition and fluid electrolytes. So that's what I did. Then the next day was pharmacology. Then the next day I reviewed, and then I had to work obviously. So the work days I didn't really study, and then the next off day I had, it was like cardiac, respiratory. So I went through each section. So that was how I did my calendar. And I made every day that I was off, except when I was on that vacation, was going over a different unit. And after vacation, February is when I went hard. I got off social media. I like deleted it off my phone and everything. And I had the rest of this like units scheduled out. And then I'll tell y'all, of course, like closer what I did to the exam. But once I went through each unit or each section that's on this study guide, I then started to review all my notes and just kind of like talk to myself and memorize it. So that's kind of like a general thing. So now I'm going to break it down into detail of what I did to study each section. So first of all, let's start with FANNP. The Florida Association of Neonatal Nurse Practitioner, I think, but for sure it's Florida. FANNP, they're the bomb. And if you never heard of them or don't know about them, they're on Facebook. So go to their Facebook page. There's like a bunch of nurse practitioners on there. There's neonatal nurse practitioner students. So you can get advice for like studying, asking advice. It's just a job, networking, everything. So first of all, if you're not already following them on Facebook, go to their Facebook page. Next, they have a conference that they do every year. This year, 2020, was virtual, obviously because of Corona. And this was, each year they do it kind of like for that senior class. It's for everybody. You can already be a nurse practitioner. But in general, it's like really tailored around that class, that graduating class of that coming either December or that May. So it's usually in October, and it's usually for a week. And I went to the virtual conference, and their conference consists of different activities that I can't really speak on because, again, it was virtual. But they have like poster presentations and stuff. I don't know how you get selected. I'm not sure in depth, so I won't go in depth. But the things I do know in depth is that they do lectures. So similar to how this NCC study guide is outlined, it's like an outline. It's kind of like they follow that outline because they do the lectures. Each day it's about 2 to 3 lectures, normally no more than 3, on each unit, like respiratory and then cardiac or genetics and blah, blah, blah. And it comes with PowerPoints. It's kind of like a class. Like how, everybody's school doesn't have lectures, but if you would picture your school had a lecture, it kind of gives me that vibe with the PowerPoint. And you obviously listen to the lecture and you follow along. You can take notes, but you don't have to while you're listening the first time around because you can if you want. I took notes a little bit, but I didn't go in depth. But because they also give you like access to those lectures after the conference, and you have access for like a year, I believe, or more. And then plus if you download it on your device, then you have access indefinitely. So that was a really good thing. So you're going to hear a lot of people talk about that because that's one of the things that I did to study to pass my boards was I utilized those lectures. And so, for example, on January 9th, I did cardiac. So with cardiac, I had cardiac plus lecture. So I listened to the lecture, and I did that like anywhere. Like when I was riding in a car, I was listening to the lecture. When we went on the trip, on the plane, I was listening to the lectures and just kind of like letting it sit and like let it settle in because this wasn't my first time listening because I listened before during the actual conference. So let's just use cardiac as the example, but just then think of it with every unit. With cardiac, use the cardiac lecture and then this book. I use this book. I don't know if you can see the title, if it's going to look backwards for you, but it's called Neonatal Nurse Practitioner Certification Intensive Review. And I got this from Amazon, and it also follows the same study guide in order. And it's kind of like repetition, honestly, because you're listening to the lecture and you're following this. So some people can do it all at the same time. That's too much for me. So what I would do was like I woke up on the 9th, got my coffee, got my little setups together. I listened to the cardiac lecture and took notes on like the PowerPoint. And then after I got the lecture, I went back through this chapter. And it was kind of like, because I had this even during school, so I had already read it. So it's kind of like a review. Because repetition is very important. Granted, you're not supposed to memorize things, you want to actually take heed to it, and actually like understand it and break down the knowledge. But re-listening to the same things over and over again and rereading it helps you do that. So that's what it was more so. So I'm just right now showing you guys the resources I use. So you have your NCC study guide that you're going to follow. You have your FANMP lectures that you're going to follow. With that being said, go to the conference. Once you go follow them, look out for the dates for the conference. And if it's in person this year, start saving up for your hotel, your flight, like making plans. And your school is our school. Well, it was like a part that week. They didn't have anything to do. That they made it like an assignment. So your school works with you because it's helping you pass, and I mean, helping you gear up to pass. So those lectures. So go to the conference, sign up for the conference, get the lectures, and take advantage of all the other things that they offer there. And then this book, get this book. This was the resources the main resources that I use. And of course, a planner, obviously. Have yourself a planner and get organized. All right, moving on to more in-depth. So how I actually study. That's the stuff that I use. Now, how did I use it to study? So I already told you how I listened to the lectures and took notes on the PowerPoints, and next I looked through the book and took notes. So originally I was writing my notes over and over again, and I had the notebook. I do have it. I just don't have access to it. I kind of got excited after I found out I passed, and I put everything in a bin. Everything that I know I won't really use like that, but this binder, except this binder was my heavenly saving grace. So in the notebook that I bought, I was taking brand new notes. But then I realized that, like, if you watch any of my other previous videos, and this is not to toot my own horn, but hey, I'm tooting my own horn. I take bomb notes. Like, I take really, really good notes. In school, I took really good notes. So I started realizing I was rewriting some of the stuff, but my notes were so good. If I just used my notes and just wrote on top of those things that I might have missed, then, or added to them, I would. So I took blank paper. This is just what I did during school, but you can do it. If you didn't do it, you can still do it to study for your boards, or you can start doing it now while you're in school. So I'm a big fan of blank computer paper, just blank, nothing on there. And when I'm studying, I use, obviously, my books to study and, like, the main topics. And a lot of the stuff that I had on my notes was main. Some we're using, right now I'm going to use skin because this is what I just opened up to. So I'm, like, a big person of drawing charts and stuff like that. So this is my skin notes, right? And this is what I had while I was in school. This is what I used. So obviously the highlights are from when I was, like, studying for my boards. And, so all this, I just made a chart. And I don't know if you can see it, but, like, I have all the skin lesions written down there, and then I have obviously information about it. So we'll just do one skin lesion, erythema toxicum. So it's a normal skin lesion, obviously. I'm not going to go into depth about that. So it's the actual title, the name of the skin lesion. The next row is the description. So how would you describe it? If somebody asks, or if you're looking and you're like, is this erythema toxicum? Like, if you want to know, like, you need to know what it looks like. So obviously I explain, have a description of what it looks like and what it contains. We all know eosinophils, so, like, that's something important. And then, like, when does it resolve? Do you have to treat it? Does it resolve on its own? And most of these skin lesions resolve on their own, so that's what the next row is. And then treatment. And then a lot of the times I'm just writing spontaneously because most of them, again, resolve on their own, but there are some that, don't. So obviously, like, I'm really big on that. So drawing charts, highlighting, color coordinated. Then I have, like, more charts on the back of, like, in detail things, and a lot of the stuff aligned with the book in the FANMP lecture, but if it did not, I would add to it or make a whole new blank sheet. I'm going to show you my binder. So that's just one sheet. And then I was saying I was going over cardiac. Okay, but anyways, so like I said, this is the binder, and then I have the dividers with each unit. So this is skin. I think I did skin and musculoskeletal together. So you have the skin, and then you have pulmonary or cardiac, which is blank because I have the actual chart for my cardiac in the notebook that I use, which I'll tell y'all about in a minute. But anyways, and then respiratory. So it's all, like, just written notes. And written helps me remember. Like, when you have just computer notes, I think this is renal. When you have just computer or just rereading stuff, sometimes it doesn't help me retain it, so I have to write. So, like, I write everything. And then I draw like I draw to help me, or I print out pictures to help me. So that is what my binder looks like, and it goes through system. So I obviously went through those notes. I will go through them, highlighting, seeing if I can like reteach myself out loud, and just quizzing myself. So that's kind of what I did as far as just notes. Because think about it, we know all this stuff, y'all. We went through it in school. We took the test. We passed the test. Like, we got this far for a reason. So you don't really, like, study. Do what works for you, but you don't. It's not like starting all over new. You don't really need 50 books to study all the stuff you just studied and learned. You kind of just need refresher. So my notes helped me, because it wasn't like I was just learning and then forgetting about it. You know how in nursing school it was just like pack, undergrad nursing school, but this is like legit, like you're about to have like lives in your hands. You're putting the orders in, so it's not just study to get through the test. When I studied in school, it was study to know the knowledge. So I do know it, but obviously you still gotta like review and refresh yourself for an exam. So that's more so what I was doing for the boards, was review and refresher to myself for the exam. Okay, so we talked about studying and reviewing and like reinforcing the information that you already learned. So we're good there. We're good, right? We're good? We're good. Okay, now what's the next thing you're doing? When you're about to take a test, what is something you like to do? You want to practice. It's not the knowledge. You know the information. I'm telling you, you know the information. So it's not the knowledge, it's just the questions. So you never know. With any exam, you never know what they're gonna throw at you. Like, you just don't know. They can throw you know everything out the book, but then they throw in this question and the words is kind of wonky, and you like, hold up, wait, what? I thought I studied that, but I don't really understand what you asking me. So then you kind of lost, right? So what do you want to do? You want to do practice questions. That was the next top thing I did. I made like towards like middle of February, in the middle of studying, I was like going over stuff, and I'm like, you know that, Angel, like you know it. Like, I was feeling great, honestly. It was just that I could feel so great about information. But when you take a test, everybody's not good test takers, and I'm not the best. I've gotten better, but I can really say, like, no matter what, like, I have anxiety, and with anxiety, you be answering the wrong thing. Like, y'all know how it is. So practice questions. So I used four things. I'm lying. Okay, the first thing is this book has some questions in the back, but I had already done them when I was, like I said, I had this the last 2 semesters, so I was using it, so I had already done the questions. But if you don't have this book and have not yet used it, there's questions in it. It's just not a lot. I wish that they had like a book that came with this, with just all questions. So it's all right. It's kind of helpful, but it's not a lot. So, and you have 175 questions on the NCC exam, only 150 count, but you still need to like literally sit down and practice taking 175 questions on the exam, because that's a long time to sit and just do questions straightforward, you know? Next is this. Now, I don't know if some of you may have seen it or not. This is the question book that goes with the RNC book. First of all, I also have the RNC book by my side. I didn't use it as much because I had used it before, but the information in the RNC book is like the same as what the boards is telling us to look at. Because the boards is not going to go depth. They're not going to go in depth. They expect you to have 25-year-old nurse practitioner knowledge. They just expect you to know the basis. It's really not going like crazy deep. We'll talk about that when I get there. Obviously, I'm not going to tell any questions, but we'll talk about how they form their questions in a second. So with that being said, RNC is pretty simple, basic. Like, not simple, but basic, and the book has a lot of information, but that's like easily understandable versus like some of the nurse practitioner books we had to use for school was kind of like, whoa, I need a dictionary next to me because I don't understand nothing it's saying. Yeah, the RNC book's easier, but anyways, the questionnaire that it comes with is the bomb. And I didn't even use this book. I'm just showing it to you guys because, yes, you can use this, but they also have online questions that if you go to the website and just put the book in, it's Elsevier. You go to their website and you should have a book code in the front of your book. Mine's already used. And then you can do the questions online. So you can take them anywhere you want to go, and they give you a bunch, and it's really helpful. So I did that a lot. I would do it like 100 questions a day, and then I did like 150, and I did a bunch. I think it provides you with 845 questions. And then another website I used was Mednax. Mednax has practice exams as well. If you go to mednax.com or just Google Mednax, I'm not sure, you have to register for it. And then once you register for it, you can type in NMP module in the search box, and then they have like 6 different modules And mainly it's just pre-test, review the course, but the review the course is your own doing. Like you have to go to the books. It's not like it provides a course, and then you do the post-test, and it just tells you how you do. That it's kind of hard. Honestly, those questions are harder than the boards to me, but it's a good, like foundation to see where you are, or to just get some practice in with taking tests, and answering test questions. My last question resource that I used was this. So, where can you see it? Okay, it's the red. It's called MP Neonatal. Yeah, and it's the red one right here, right where my hand is pointing at, next to Nikki Tools. It's a review. It's a review app. So it's I think $10. You pay for it, and you get I think 850 or 800. You get in the 800 range of questions that you can ask. So the only thing I like, pros and cons. So pros and cons. I like the app because, again, what you really need, you know your stuff, sis. You know it. Like, come on, you know your stuff. So what you don't need anybody to teach you. I mean, you do. I mean, wait, you never can learn. You never can learn too much. Like, you always have room to grow and to learn. Obviously, I'm not saying you know everything. I'm just saying you know your information. Like, I'm just like instilling some confidence in you that you know your stuff. That's not the problem. It's not, always review, always ask questions, all that. But at the same time, when it comes to test taking, it's the questions. It's just you never know what they're gonna throw at you, how they're gonna throw it at you. They say they're not trying to trick you up, but obviously it can't be easy peasy because then everybody would do it. So they have to make it a little bit difficult. So with that being said, if you do practice taking tests, then the more practice you do, the better you'll get. So that if they ever throw a question as a disease, because we don't know everything. You know your stuff, but we don't know everything. You're gonna get stuff that you like. What the hell? Like, you never heard of this, you never seen this. Even in the medical field world, I still to this day get like disorders or diagnosis that I'm like, what? I just graduated. I never heard of this, and it makes me so mad because like so many things out there in the world that you won't hear. You can't learn everything. Obviously in school there are going to be things that come out that you just never heard of. But if you can figure out how to answer it, how to weed out the wrong answers, how to read the questions properly, how to take your time, process of elimination, if you learn all those techniques, then you're far enough. So with that being said, that app is really good with helping you practice your test taking skills and techniques. The questions are about neonatals, and I had that app my last semester as well. And in my last semester, I would do it like in clinicals when I had downtime. But like, I did terrible, y'all. I was doing so terrible. I was like, oh my God, I'm not graduating. But then when I started using it for studying for my boards, I started doing good. Like, I was really getting so many right. I was doing bomb. And I don't know if it was just like graduating or what, but I think studying and just having the more I did it, the more I take practice tests, the better I was getting. So I feel like that's gonna be you. So with that being said, download the app, go get the book, do all the practice questions you can do, and it's really gonna take you a long way. All right, I didn't want this to be too long because I don't want to lose your attention, but I'm really just trying to help you. So either watch the whole thing till you can pass your exam or don't. It's up to you. All right, now I'm going to talk about leading up to the exam. So like I said, I did each section. I think I finished all the units and all the areas by like 2 weeks before my exam. So that first 2 weeks before the exam, I was just reviewing all my notes over and over again. I would do it in the morning, do some practice questions, do it in the afternoon, do some practice questions, do it each day, review, practice questions, review, practice questions, review, practice questions. And then the week of the exam, my exam was on a Thursday. I think I was off. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I like went hard, I studied hard, I was making sure I knew my stuff. Wednesday, I woke up, did 175 practice questions. I think I used the app, did great. Then I went to get my nails done, my toes done, got a little massage there, and came back home, reviewed my notes one more time, and then relaxed. I took a bubble bath that night with lavender. So good, had the candle. I prayed, I meditated. I had meditation music going while I took that bubble bath. Went to sleep early, woke up. I did not have a breakfast. I'm not good at that, y'all. I suck at waking up and having breakfast, especially that early. My exam was at 9 in the morning. But, oh, that Sunday, I went and did a practice drive-through to the place. Because y'all, like I said, I have test anxiety, and I don't do well with surprises. And I'm so glad that I went that Sunday because it was to get to the building. It was like a little shortcut that take you like through some rocks and kind of like some trees. It was like a little, because that's the shortcut way to get there. And if I would have went and never did a trial run, I would have went to that place like, this is not the building. I would have started panicking and everything. So I'm glad I did it. So do a trial. If you aren't good with unknown surprises, traffic, etc., do a drive run that lets you know where it's at or whatever. I say do it. It really just helps ease your mind a little bit. You already kind of know how to get there a little bit. Like, it really helped. So I did that trial run Sunday. I left super early. I got there about 30 minutes early, and I took my calculation sheet. So I do have the formula. So I studied the formulas like it was nobody's business because I suck at math. So I studied some of the calculation formulas. And so after that last week, that Sunday through that Tuesday, I didn't really open this binder. I used this. This is notes of like common things I was getting asked, common things about each unit. It was just this 4 pages of notes that I used and studied all those days. With that being said, the calculations and the sodium questions, and the sodium formulas, how much sodium is in, blah, blah, blah. I'll go over this all later with another vlog. But yeah, so that was the week what I did. So I got there 30 minutes early, and I went through the calculations again, because my whole plan is you get a piece of paper and a pencil when you first sit down and take your exam. My whole plan was to memorize those calculations. The moment I sit down, write them all down, and that's what I did. I wrote down the APGAR chart. That's what I got there 30 minutes early. I did that. I prayed, long prayer in the car, and then I went, took the test. At 100 questions, I got up, took a bathroom break, prayed again in the bathroom, came back, finished the test. I finished the test with about maybe 45 minutes left. So I went back through, I went through all the questions that I skipped, because you can skip them and come back to them that I just knew I didn't know. And then I went back through the test from 1 to 175. And on my paper, I wrote 3 rows. The first row was, I absolutely know I got that right. The second row was, maybe, I might have got that right. The third one was, I don't know. I really just don't know that question. And then I tallied up each question. Number 1, right, and put tally marks. And then I just did that to see, like, man, I feel kind of good. So I had counted out of the 150 questions that count, I got 115 I felt confident about. I was like, okay, I feel confident about 115. It's just not enough time in a day or in in a vlog video to get all the information out in detail. So if you have questions for me, please comment below with whatever questions you have. I answer them, and I can also make a follow-up video, maybe a part 2, if you felt like you wanted like more details on what I did. So that was the exam. Like I said, after I left, I just felt like I didn't feel like I failed, but I just didn't know. I didn't feel like, woo, I know I passed that. I wasn't 100% confident, but I wasn't in a mindset where I was like, oh, I know I failed that. So that was a good thing, and I think it's the way they used to have it with this NCC exam, that you get your results immediately. They no longer have that. That is like the worst part, because it's so nerve-wracking. It's the longest wait ever, y'all. It sucks. And so apparently they only put the results out on Wednesdays. I took my exam that Thursday, so I picked up overtime. I worked Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so I knew like I was gonna work that weekend. It was a busy weekend. I thought about picking up Monday, but it was a hard work weekend, so I didn't pick up Monday. But Monday, Monday I slept because it was a hard work weekend. I like literally stayed in the bed all day, for real. And then Tuesday, I like had a doctor's appointment, and did I go visit a friend? Oh yeah, I went to go visit one of my coworkers, and we went out to lunch. So that helped get my mind off of it. Went home, slept, and they released the results at 1 a.m. Central Time. Whatever the case, wherever they are, I'm not sure where the building's located, but I was told 12, so I had my alarm set for 12:30. I woke up, the results weren't there. I was like, oh, Jesus, I'm just gonna go to sleep. So I went back to sleep, but then I naturally woke up at like 1-ish, and my fiance was there. I think he was getting Anyways, woke him up, and I was like, "Are you ready?" Oh, we held hands. I was like, "Lord, please, Lord, please, Lord, please," and pulled it up on the website, and sure enough, it showed my passing results, y'all, and that was the best feeling ever. The weight off my shoulders, all the hard work was done, and I just could not be more grateful. So, and that was that, and I just been celebrating since. Not really since of like taking time to focus on myself, because if anybody knows, when you get in school, like, you just lose sight of yourself and all of that, which we'll talk about. This will be another video. I just want to talk about passing the exam, all the tips that I could give. If I'm pretty sure I'm gonna watch this, I'm gonna be editing this, Lord, and I'm gonna be like, dang it, I forgot to mention that or this or that or this. But you know, YouTube not going anywhere, I'm not going anywhere, y'all not going anywhere. So if I gotta make another video, I sure enough will. Please be on the lookout for my next video. I'm gonna just be talking about jobs hunting, job interview, and that process, even the process of credentialing, license. I'm gonna be talking about all that in the next one, so be on the lookout. But above all, until then, follow me on Instagram at @SignedAngelJanae. I'll put it on the screen right there so you can know how to spell it. And yeah, catch me later. Don't forget, comment, like, for sure, subscribe if you want to see some more. Let me subscribe, like, and comment. Let me know what you want to hear. It was good catching up with y'all, and I'll catch y'all later.
I told you that my love for you was real. Oh yeah, yeah, you already know the fuck. Oh yeah, yeah, we gon' pull up a bench, ride with your friends.